All right, welcome back to the deep dive. We've got quite a stack of reports to get through today.
Definitely.
Really want to dig into these, try and help you cut through some of the noise and see what's actually shifting globally. Our mission, really, for this deep dive, just connect the dots between conflict, diplomacy, economic ripples. It's all linked.
It really is. And, sometimes you see these headlines fighting here, a meeting there, oil prices doing something weird, and they feel separate, but they're not. They're all woven together, shaping this whole geopolitical picture right now. We'll try and show you how.
Okay, sounds good. Let's unpack this then, starting right on the front lines. The conflict in Ukraine seems to be intensifying. Zaporizhzhia region, for example, reports are saying, nearly 600 offensive actions in just 24 hours across 16 places.
Yeah, that's an incredible number. And the human cost is immediate, isn't it? Reports of at least 2 dead, 10 injured there. And specifically in Zaporizhzhia city, 9 buildings hit. That level of concentrated fire isn't just random shelling. It suggests a real push, trying to stretch Ukraine's defenses thin, maybe create an opening.
And it's broader than just Zaporizhzhia. Across the whole country, sources are saying at least 7 killed, 37 injured in the last day. But what really seems significant is this focus on energy infrastructure. Odesa, Dnipropetrovsk.
Right. Kyiv's interpretation is clear. Disrupt winter preparations.
A tactic we've seen before, unfortunately.
Exactly. And the drones. The Ukrainian Air Force reported 45 Shaheds launched by Moscow, plus these so-called bait drones.
Bait drones to draw out air defenses?
Precisely. To map them out, they say 36 were shot down, which is, a decent intercept rate, but 9 still got through, hit targets in 3 regions.
And looking closer at those regions, Dnipropetrovsk, the governor there, reported 4 injured, drone and artillery hitting the Nikopol district. Damage to gas pipeline and energy line, too. Then in Donetsk, 1 dead, 7 injured, reported. Pokrovsk, Kostiantynivka, Shirikny village. Casualties spread out.
It's relentless.
Yeah. Kherson, 8 injured, 8 houses damaged. And near Sumy City, tragically, 2 dead, 5 injured from a missile attack. But that attack near Odesa, the Izmail region specifically, near the Danube, close to Romania. That feels strategically important.
Very. Targeting gas infrastructure there.
Yeah. Reports say a fear broke out. It was controlled, but about 2,500 people lost gas supply. And crucially, it hit a compression station, part of the gas transmission system linking Ukraine to Greece's LNG terminals via the Trans-Balkan pipeline.
Right, the pipeline used for U.S. and Azerbaijani gas. So hitting that, it's not just about local disruption.
No, it feels bigger. And the proximity to Romania, a NATO member, they issued an alert, scrambled F-16s as precaution.
Which is becoming almost routine down there, unfortunately. It really highlights the danger of spillover. But why hit that specific station, linked to an international pipeline? It feels like a deliberate move to undermine Ukraine's role as an energy transit hub for Europe long term.
Trying to cut them off from the wider European grid.
Kind of, yeah. Decouple them, maybe. And NATO scrambling jets, even just as a precaution, it just shows how tense things are on the border.
Okay, so that's the picture from the Ukrainian side based on those reports. Let's flip it. What are Russian sources, specifically the Ministry of Defense, claiming?
Well, they say their forces targeted Ukraine's gas transport system, too. But they frame it as hitting a sector that supports Ukraine's military-industrial complex.
Ah, okay. Different framing.
Exactly. They mention using aircraft, drones, missiles, hitting 142 areas, claiming targets like drone depots, troop concentrations, foreign mercenaries.
And they gave specific numbers for claimed Ukrainian losses. Tanks, armored vehicles.
Yeah, detailed figures for different sectors, a tank here, British vehicles there, American ones somewhere else, artillery pieces, electronic warfare stations, the usual list. We always need caution with these battlefield claims from either side, of course.
Absolutely. No, Ukraine isn't just defending, they're also striking Russian territory. That railway station in Rostov, Tatanskaya, hit again.
Second time, yeah. And it's a significant target. About 100 kilometers from the border, a major logistics hub, petroleum, grain, vital for military supply lines.
Locals reported explosions, a fire near cargo tanks.
The governor reported air defense is active, but power lines were damaged on one area, cut electricity to about 200 people, some evacuations due to a fire spreading near homes. No injuries reported there, though.
And Russia claims they shot down a lot of drones that night.
51, they said, across 4 regions, 16 just in Rostov. Again, numbers to be treated carefully, but it shows the scale of the drone exchanges. What really strikes me here is how the scope is just widening. Both sides hitting strategic targets deep inside the other's territory. Railway hubs, energy systems.
It's moving beyond the front lines.
Definitely. It raises big questions about the resilience of supply chains, infrastructure. Are we seeing like an acceleration of this infrastructure attrition war?
And this escalation, it's not just physical, is it? The diplomatic front seems just as intense, a real chess game. Take the U.S. envoy, Steve Witkoff, meeting Putin. Both sides called it useful and constructive, which is interesting phrasing.
Very interesting, especially because it happened just 2 days before this supposed deadline Trump set for Russia to agree to a peace deal.
Right. A Kremlin advisor apparently said they exchanged some signals about Ukraine. Very vague.
Signals. It's fascinating, isn't it? Even with active fighting, there's still this back channel. Maybe not for breakthroughs, but for probing, testing the waters, managing escalation risk, perhaps.
And then you have Trump himself making these big economic threats. Heavy tariffs on countries still buying Russian goods, specifically naming India and China.
Yeah, Russia's main oil buyers right now, Brazil got to mention too. That adds a whole other layer of pressure.
But on the flip side, there are these whispers from Bloomberg and others that the Kremlin might propose a moratorium on air attacks, both sides stopping.
Not a full ceasefire, they stress, but it would offer some relief.
So how much real leverage do these economic threats actually have? Tariffs on India, China, that could hurt Russia's income, right?
Potentially, yes. It introduces a big economic variable, could shift trade flows. But then this moratorium idea from the Kremlin, it's like a countersignal, isn't it? A limited de-escalation offer maybe buys time without giving up ground.
So where does this leave Putin's actual position? Reuters had sources close to the Kremlin saying it's unlikely he'll accept Trump's ultimatum.
The reasoning cited was that Putin believes Russia is, quote, winning the war and military goals come first, before improving U.S. relations.
That suggests a pretty hard line.
It does. It points towards maybe a hardening of positions, a sense that earlier diplomatic feelers didn't work out. The source Reuters spoke to even noted the initial sort of romance between Trump and Putin seems shaken, that new Cold War rhetoric is back.
Which has obvious security implications globally.
Absolutely. It signals maybe a longer-term strategic calculation, prioritizing military outcomes over any quick detent.
And speaking of strategic shifts, let's look at the military alliances. Russia and China just held a joint naval exercise, Sea of Japan, focused on anti-submarine warfare.
And the timing. Just days after Trump said he'd sent 2 U.S. nuclear subs closer to Russia.
Right. The Russian mod mentioned Chinese Y-8 aircraft, their own Il-38s helicopters. Both sides apparently called it productive work.
Now, Trump's reasoning for sending the subs, he said, was a response to Medvedev's comments about the old Soviet dead-hand nuclear system still being operational.
Which is a pretty provocative thing to bring up, that old Cold War automatic retaliation system.
Highly provocative. Though the Kremlin tried to sort of downplay the U.S. sub deployment, saying U.S. subs are always ready and warning against nuclear rhetoric.
But this joint exercise, it's part of a pattern, isn't it? Since they signed that strategic partnership without limits before the war.
Exactly. Regular exercises, training coordination, sending a message of deterrence. It's not just routine. This deepening military cooperation, Russia and China. It's a major geopolitical development. It looks like a direct counterweight to perceived Western influence, an effort to solidify a more multipolar world. It's a powerful signal.
And these signals, these maneuvers, they ripple straight into the economy, especially energy markets. Oil prices jumped Wednesday.
Yep. Brent and WTI both up about 1% after hitting 5-week lows the day before.
And the drivers mentioned were Trump's tariff threat against India, specifically for buying Russian oil.
And a bigger than expected drop in U.S. oil stockpiles.
Right. Brent hit just over $80, WTI near $76, after falling for 4 straight days previously.
The analysts are trying to make sense of it. Janice Shaw at Rostov linked the jump to the tariff talk, but said the market needs more clarity on how it would actually work.
And Ashley Kelty at Panmure Liberum. She expected India might cut back on Russian oil, but doubted they'd stop completely. Why? Because they get such a good discount, make significant profits.
Makes sense economically for them. Shaw also suggested any drop in Russian exports might just get filled by OPEC plus increasing supply anyway.
It's complex. And worth remembering, Russia was the world's second-largest oil producer in 2024, only behind the U.S.
It really shows how tangled economics and geopolitics are here. Tariff threats are a tool, but global markets have their own logic. Buyer incentives, other producers stepping in. It's a constant balancing act.
Okay, one final piece here, looking at shifting alignments in Asia. An Indian government source says Prime Minister Modi is going to visit China, first time in over 7 years.
That is significant. It's being framed as a potential sign of rapprochement.
And the timing again.
Yeah,
Just as tensions between India and the U.S. seem to be rising.
exactly. If traditional alliances are shifting and economic leverage is key, then Modi visiting China now, it suggests a major rethink of strategic partnerships in Asia. We could be seeing new power dynamics emerge that reshape things for years, decades maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a lot we've covered. From the fierce fighting in Ukraine, the attacks on energy, the drone warfare, to this intricate diplomatic dance. U.S.-Russia signals, Trump's threats.
The growing Russia-China military ties.
Right. And how all that feeds into oil prices, economic pressure, potential shifts like India possibly getting closer to China. It really is all connected.
It absolutely is. The conflict, the diplomacy, the alliances, the economics, they're all interacting, constantly reshaping the global landscape. So, as you think about all this, maybe consider this. If nations are increasingly acting out of strategic autonomy, making alliances based on current needs rather than just history, what does that mean for the future? For global stability, for cooperation? How does this change the game?